This week on Dr. Drew After Dark.
I'm the guy who's had so little sex in his life. I think my fetish is just gratitude, you know?
But the idea that he could get it from masturbating is kind of cute. Because where is the chlamydia coming in? It's a gigantic room. It's like thousands of people.
We have 1 billion people. I can sell tickets.
Yeah, you were, but you didn't move the Kennedy Center to Mumbai.
Yeah.
Welcome to Dr. Drew After Dark. Please be advised that Dr. Drew After Dark may contain sexually oriented content and be unsuitable for young children. And welcome, everybody. Dr. Drew After Dark. Of course, 818-253-1693 is the phone number, and the emails can keep on coming at drdrewafterdark@gmail.com. I've been reading through your guys' emails. They are great. We'll try to get as many as I possibly can. Of course, we'll take some live calls with Veer Das today. Welcome, my friend.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. Check him out on his National Greenlight Tour. Go to that's VIRDAS.in.
Yes. I had .com, and then when I was 29, I defaulted on payments because I was broke. And some bastard bought it in the half an hour that I defaulted.
What?
And now he owns veerdas.com and will not sell it back to me.
Is he doing anything with it? He's just holding.
I feel like it's either one of those just website holder services or like a competing comedian.
Oh.
I'm not sure which one.
Wow, we'll have to investigate that.
Yeah, this asshole's doing nothing with it.
Yeah.
That's so funny. You were in The Bubble on Netflix. You've got a bunch of films you've done. Tell us about that.
I have. I think I've been in about 14 Hindi movies, and then I was recently in The Bubble, and I have 4 Netflix specials. So
Crazy.
You can kind of check those out.
That's crazy. And your life is like, I don't even know how to describe it. You lived in more and
nomadic, pretty nomadic.
Nomadic, and from the standpoint of sort of the United States, sort of exotic places. You've lived a lot of interesting places.
I think whenever the universe senses that I'm happy, it moves me to some place where I won't be. And then I have to find it all over again.
Welcome. This is one of those places. So where do you live now?
I live in Goa and Mumbai. Goa is a tiny beach town a little bit outside Mumbai. But no, I was born in Delhi, but then raised in Lagos, Nigeria. And just as soon as I think my first girl talked to me in school in Nigeria, I was sent off to boarding school in India.
Of course.
I got my ass whooped because I was the kid from Nigeria.
Oh, perfect. Wait, hold on. You were the kid from India in Nigeria.
I was the kid from India in Nigeria.
That's where they kicked your ass.
Yes, that's where they kicked my ass. And then I went to boarding school in India.
Oh,
where I was the Nigerian kid in boarding school.
Oh, I see. They kicked your ass.
Then they kicked my ass. And
just
then
set up for a career in comedy.
After that, went to public school in New Delhi, where I got my ass kicked because I was the kid from boarding school. And then just as I think maybe like the morning after I'd lost my virginity in Delhi University.
Congratulations.
I got sent to Galesburg, Illinois for
Why?
college.
What do you mean sent?
The mecca of civilization is
Right. And who thought that was a good idea?
My parents, there's a place called Knox College, and I wanted to study econ, and they do large amounts of financial aid. And so I went to like Cornfield College,
Understood.
One Kmart, one JCPenney America, and it was great.
And when did comedy hit?
I was always like a Richard Pryor fan and like an Eddie Murphy fan. And growing up in Africa, you get a lot of black artists on TV. And so those were them and Will Smith were the 2 guys that we got to see, 3 guys that we got to see. And I just kind of grew up watching them. And then I think I went to like an American drama program where it's pretty hardcore. Like they say things like emote with your shoulders and you know.
My notes say it was a Stanislavski, Moscow and Harvard combined sort of, hardcore theatrical program. So it's where Stanislavski, if anybody doesn't know, is the guy that invented the method acting.
So it was a lot of sitting in a circle and crying.
Oh, jeez.
And at the end of that, I just wanted something a little more organic.
How about fun?
And fun. and so for my final thesis show, I wrote a show called Brown Men Can't Hump. because remember there's a movie called White Men Can't Jump.
No, I'm familiar. I think it's fantastic.
And I mean, we have 1 billion people, so clearly we can. And I did a 90-minute performance.
I guess you can't help outside of India.
Well, I mean,
how did you end up in Nigeria? What was the move?
my dad got a job
Just
when I was a year old. And
engineering or something? It sounds like a
manufacturing.
Funny manufacturing job. Okay.
And so, yeah, we just, I did 90 minutes for 800 people the first time I did stand-up. And it was...
How did that happen?
I just booked the college theater and kind of wrote the show,
800 people showed up?
The college.
Wow. Was there a buzz or about it or something?
Yeah, I put posters up.
Is that the one?
The Brown Man Can't
Okay,
Come.
so the name got people in the door. Okay.
And my psychology is always to kind of print the poster first and then kind of chase the poster.
Understand.
You have
Design
to
the show later.
Yeah,
Is that something that Stanislavski advocated?
Maybe. And they showed up and it went really well. And then cut to, I was
So
really
that you're hooked right then.
I'm hooked.
So that was sort of a one-man show, comedic show,
Yeah.
not a stand-up thing so much.
It was terrible. It was inside jokes for friends, largely.
Well, it's a college campus, so you can do that, right?
Yeah, and the entire college is like 1,400 kids.
That's
so-
why people want to. Oh yeah, that's why. But they like that. They like
Yeah.
So that makes sense. But that still wasn't a stand-up, right? So
No.
But I imagine you're a college kid and you think, I've mastered stand-up. They
Oh,
love
yeah,
me. I'm going to go to the improv and stand
Yeah.
up, and I'll be great.
Yeah, I'm the shit at this
and
point.
how'd that go?
Then I went to Mike's in Chicago, which is on the South Side, and they do an open mic. And I think I was booed off stage 7 weeks in a row. It's a South Side
Fantastic.
room, so very
Fantastic.
unforgiving. And I think maybe my first laugh was, you have to keep in mind, like I was just broke. I was a dishwasher. Women were maintaining a 9-mile radius around me.
Sure.
And I think I went up and started screaming. And it's by no means a good joke, but I was like, you Americans don't understand how important Indians are. We drive your taxis. We're doctors who check out your wife's equipment. We sell you newspapers. We serve you food. Without Indians, you'd be starving, stranded, sexless, sterile, and stupid. And that was my first laugh.
And they got it. Okay, it's good.
Yeah.
The South Side liked it.
Yeah.
And then you just got hooked, and I got to just figure it out from there. Is that what happened, or were you doing other things at the same time?
I was washing dishes at a place called the Grand Lux Cafe on Michigan Avenue.
That's a big restaurant.
It's a big restaurant. And lots of dishes. And
Yeah, it's this huge. It's upstairs, and huge restaurant.
yeah, it's like the Cheesecake Factory's
it's
fine dining.
I think it is their
Yeah, it's the
thing.
same company. Yeah. And so I was doing that, and my visa expired, and I had to go back. And then
What were you thinking then? Like comedy?
no,
or-
I was thinking I'd do an MFA program and teach Shakespeare. And the following year, I got into something called the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, which is an MFA program in Montgomery, Alabama, where there is one other brown person. I know, because we saw each other in a parking lot and ran to each other like two pandas who had found each other. And I dropped out in like 3 months. I was too young to do it, I think.
And have you been in multiple Shakespearean productions?
I've done
what kind of roles do they put you in?
Leontes in Winter's Tale, Aaron in Titus Andronicus, Richard III. So I've done some stuff.
Sort of what are the two? There's two kind of in Tempest. The King's Men. There's a bunch of people around the King in the Tempest. Anyway, there's all kinds of interesting people think about Lear and Desmond, the main characters, but there's a lot of other stuff going on.
Gravediggers are the most interesting Shakespearean
Salario
characters
and
ever.
Salanio and
So
those are the ones telling you the truth.
yeah, and then I just kind of went back to India and started doing stand-up. And
So you did in India first.
yeah, and it was a good time because stand-up was this very kind of posh, slightly older art form, and then suddenly this kid shows up who's talking about young things, and I got an audience pretty fast.
Interesting. So, I mean, it's such a crazy, interesting life you've led. I'm curious how you perceive cultural issues, like what's going on in this country right now and what you perceive. I'm just imagining you see things differently.
Well, I see them from an outsider's perspective,
But-
which sometimes is a more friendly perspective. I would venture to say, when I show up in America, I have no dog in the race. I have no campaign that
Yeah.
camp that I'm aligned with.
Yeah.
You just kind of see it for what it is.
I kind of feel that way myself, and yet I'm in it.
Yeah.
Having come from it. What do you think is going on with us these days? It's one of the things I'm always trying to figure out. What is up with this country? It's very different than it used to be.
I think you are grappling with the fact that everybody's voice is equally loud. And that's something that you've never had to grapple with before.
So that's the social media, essentially.
I think so. And I also think you're globally grappling with the fact that you're not the only seat at the table.
Right.
That there are more seats
in fact,
at the table.
right. And that with maybe our seat doesn't even matter sometimes.
I think it does, but I just think there's equal size seats next to you right now. And so the global table is shifting a little bit as well. But yeah.
So it's a weird way for us to deal with all that.
I think so. But I mean, weird as weird does, right? We have our own weirdness back home.
Oh,
so
I'm sure.
No judgment.
And how are things in India?
They're great in terms of the future is looking bright. We're hopefully the third largest economy in the world soon. We're the youngest country in the world right now.
You were critical of India at one point and flew home.
Well, critical is I was truthful. I think I did.
You were
a piece.
expressing some truths that people didn't want to hear, maybe.
Yeah.
They went viral in India, right?
In India, yes.
And you were shit on pretty thoroughly for it.
Oh, yeah. I was, context is I did a piece called The Two Indias, and it was sort of a tribute to my nation in that a lot of times we're painted in darkness, but we should remember the light.
Where did you do it?
At the Kennedy Center. And so it was, here's what's not wrong and here's what's right.
Who are you presenting to?
This is my audience, which is largely Indian people. There was about 3,000
So you booked
Indians.
the Kennedy Center?
Yeah.
The big room?
Yeah.
It's a gigantic room. It's like thousands of people.
We have 1 billion people. I can sell tickets.
Yeah, you weren't, but you didn't move the Kennedy Center to Mumbai. So this was, and so these are fans of yours, right? Your comedy fans?
Touchwood, yes.
Comedy fans.
Yes.
That came and you gave sort of a little bit of a political side speech?
Yeah, it was kind of like a piece and it was brand new. I had a paper in my hand and we put it up and it got, in the neighborhood of 30 million views. And then I think we all have the angry news channel in our country, respectively. And so...
God, everything's the angry news channel here,
right.
though.
So they took a clip and put it up and then called me a terrorist on the news and there were some complaints filed and I had to...
Was there anybody in the room that night that stood up or had an issue? Or
No, it was fine.
The room seemed to accept it.
The room seemed fine. And
Were these Americans? I mean...
No, it was Indians.
Indian citizens who were living around D.C.
Or like second generation, Indian American families,
right,
etc.
Right.
And then I think my lawyer put it really well. She's like, a news cycle is 8 days. And if you're still on the news on day 9, you're screwed.
You have a problem.
And on day 6 or 7, like somebody turned a light out, it kind of went away.
So nobody came after you or anything. See, here they don't stop until somebody's bleeding or in pain in some way.
I think the way I can see it is you don't get to predict when you create a conversation, but you have to honor the conversation. And if you're an artist, don't react to it, try and learn from it. But you'll have your moment in the sun for either praise or a beating. Take it, shut up, and then join the back of the line and hope to God there's enough people in line in front of you.
Where it doesn't happen again?
Where it doesn't happen again.
What did you say in that speech?
I said a bunch of stuff.
Is it a speech, technically?
Yeah. Well, a piece, but I said it once and it was bad enough, so I'd rather not say it again.
Okay.
That's okay.
Can you tell me the general... I know India gets a lot of criticism for the caste history.
Well, I don't think that's so much of an issue, but it was just picking out different issues and saying here's the light side and here's the darker side of it. But it was literally just one news channel that kind of...
Let me ask, because we're ignorant over here. So let me ask it this way. What don't we know?
About India?
Yeah.
A, how much you need us, just in terms of young, skilled population.
I think they're aware because they're mostly taking the jobs from people here.
Don't worry. Immigrants will be replaced by AI. They'll take your jobs now. I don't know if you need to know much about India.
Let me ask. I have another question.
Here's what I'd love to put out there, humbly to the American sort of cultural conversation.
Yeah.
Is how about the next time you do a movie about Indians that is produced out of America, we're not the richest people in the world or the poorest people in the world. So it isn't always the grandest Bollywood wedding or like Slumdog Millionaire.
Okay.
How about like a normal Indian who wears like normal clothes?
So there's a big middle class. We don't really know that.
No, not at all.
And is that mixed? Is the caste thing an issue anymore? Is that sort of people live by that? Or
Less
talk
and
about
less
it?
every day.
Less and less. It's actually very interesting.
Yeah.
Right? Gosh, there was something I was just going to get into. It escapes me. What we do on this show is we take some calls, we take some email stuff, and it's sort of you give people advice.
Nice.
Up for that?
Yeah.
Let me just start it kind of easy. Let me see if I've got something. Okay, this is a good one. This is Jake. I'll talk to him. Hey, Jake, what's going on?
Oh, how you doing, Dr. Drew?
We're good, Jake. You're on with Veer Das.
Hello, Jake.
How you doing?
I'm good.
What's going on? Here's what you tell us the problem. Here you go, do it. Here we are.
So I've been having anxiety I've had it since college. Been in between medications, started on Klonopin, got off of that because didn't like the addiction to it. Went on to Zoloft. And as of recently, I've been having issues before going on dates. I'll get really nervous and throw up.
Oh boy. And has anybody tried any exposure therapy for the anxiety?
What would that be?
It's sort of where your kind of anxiety is sort of free floating, so it might not be exactly treatable this way, but it's essentially evoking the anxiety and helping you deal with it and work through it. It's exposing you to the things that cause the anxiety. This is why, by the way, I'm going to interrupt you for a second, Jake. This is one of the reasons I'm so disturbed by these safe spaces and emotional triggers and all that stuff. It's the opposite of mental health. Mental health is about flexibility and adaptability. Yeah. And when we're treating people like Jake, you expose them to these things that make them uncomfortable so they can learn to manage and regulate. Is India have that same stuff where they're...
Well, I mean, not, of course, at his level, but I can definitely relate to being anxious before a date and having like a physical effect on you.
But I mean, in India, are they doing this so much what we do here where you're not allowed to speak if it upsets somebody and people get triggered and people have to have safe spaces and this craziness?
I would sometimes venture to say the American sort of conception of what constitutes cancel culture is a little cute.
Oh, compared to you guys?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yours involves swords?
Yeah, it's kind of sweet, in that. But I also think on the flip side, you can complain that you cannot say anything anymore, but sometimes you're also complaining that other people can say things as loudly as you can as well. Mm-hmm. So there's like a middle ground to be found in those two things, I think,
And so, Jake, the anxiety you're having, is it just around social events? Is it all the time? Other things?
Mostly around social events, for sure. That's like going to the supermarket or like just being in crowded spaces, not really the best thing.
Saying that again one more time?
Being in crowded spaces, like for me, isn't just always the best thing.
Okay. So that's agoraphobia, when people, don't like big spaces or crowds, that kind of thing. And that's where generalized anxiety goes. It can go to agoraphobia. Zoloft is a treatment for it. Klonopin is not a long-term solution because it's addictive, as you found. I mean, there's two, discussed this before, there's sort of two general approaches to this kind of anxiety. One is exposure, but you have to get somebody who has training in that. The other is sort of deeper kinds of therapy to kind of go out whatever the anxiety is coming from, which is time-consuming, and people don't like doing that. It maybe doesn't even work as well as strictly the exposure therapy. But you kind of have to take yourself by the hand and put yourself out into these situations and develop skill with them. So having a skill, as much as anything, helps you with reducing some of the anxiety.
Yeah, and a little bit at a time, I would say. Like, if crowded spaces are a problem, do not visit Mumbai anytime soon. It's just something I want to put out there. It's probably not good for you.
And you could talk to somebody who has experience treating anxiety disorders, that kind of thing, because this clearly is not just, you have sort of generalized anxiety, social anxiety, agoraphobia, and there are people that can help you with that stuff, but it is going to be about doing the things that make you uncomfortable, and you got to be ready for that. And I would suggest you start doing it right away on your own. Dr. Drew After Dark is brought to you by HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. And if you're ready to take a bite out of summer, elevate your cooking game. HelloFresh has you covered. Farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients, seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. They make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. Chef-crafted seasonal recipes, the new fresh and fit summer menu, all conveniently brought to your door by HelloFresh. No more stressing about meal planning or grocery store runs. HelloFresh is your summer savior. And the recipes are really delicious. My son grabbed onto these things and made some really great recipes. And he's not a cook. It's the step-by-step instructions. Make it a breeze, not a chore. We love exploring the new flavors and the new recipes together, and I really enjoyed them. This summer, why not make your home the ultimate hangout spot with crowd-pleasing recipes like the backyard bratwurst bar, tangy key lime pie? HelloFresh Market makes summer entertaining a cinch. You'll be the star of the summer season. It's time for summer produce as well. It's peak time for that. HelloFresh ensures you get the best picks all season long. Their ingredients travel from the farm to your door in less than 7 days, guaranteeing quality you can taste. Plus, HelloFresh is 25% cheaper than takeout. And here's an exciting offer for our listeners. Go to HelloFresh.com/DrDrew50 and use code Dr. Drew 50 for 50% off plus free shipping. That is HelloFresh.com/Dr. Drew 50 with the code Dr. Drew 50. Do not miss out on this incredible deal. This summer, it's time to make a splash with our friends at Manscaped. It's barbecue season, and it's about making a splash, right, in every aspect of your life. That is where Manscaped comes in with their new Performance Package 4.0. Prepare for the ultimate summer grooming experience. Get ready, stay confident. You're not going to even break a sweat. Just head over to manscaped.com. Use the code AFTERDARK for 20% off and free shipping. And they think of everything. They are, let's say they take care. I mean, it's pretty easy to hurt yourself down there. With Manscaped, they will save the day. They will boost your confidence. You will get around the corners. There's lots of corners down there. And Manscaped has the package that will help you do it. They have the Performance Package 4.0, everything you need, guaranteed to give you exactly what you're looking for. And they have advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer reduces the accidents, as I told you. And they do think of everything. The packages are really complete. You'll be impressed. Trimmer features a powerful 7,000 RPM motor, new multifunction on-off switch, even has a 4,000 LED spotlight for precision. And guess what? It is waterproof. So whether you're at the beach, in the shower, whatever, this will handle it. But that's not all. Manscaped liquid formulations are like, well, they're like a cool one for your balls, as they say. It's the crop preserver, ball deodorant. You will stay cool from sunrise to sunset thanks to the soothing aloe vera formula. No funk. And guess what? Manscaped throws in 2 free gifts with their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag, which is really very high quality stuff. I've got one. But let's not forget about your feet. Sandals, unpleasant toenails during the summer. People are going to see that. Say hello to the Shears 2.0, a luxury nail grooming kit with stainless steel cutters, tweezers, and grooming scissors. Oh, and a special treat. Add the crop mops to your order. These moist towelettes are made specifically for, well, beach balls. It's the best midday refresher to keep yourself fresh. So here's the deal. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AFTERDARK at manscaped.com. That is 20% off with free shipping at MANSCAPED, manscaped.com, using that code AFTERDARK. Manscaped, helping you make a splash this summer.
There's a easy one. Dan, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, Dr. Drew?
What's happening there?
My question for you today was, so I had a bronchial cleft cyst class 2. This thing was almost the size of a softball, pretty much on the side of my neck. I had it for a while. Physician's assistants kind of like veered me away from going to get some like tests and stuff. Kind of said it was nothing, that it would make it go away. But this thing pretty much grew up to the size of a softball before I really ended up actually doing anything with it.
So they probably thought it was just
a lot of what I got.
They probably just thought it was a simple cyst. like it was just a regular old little, like a subcutaneous cyst or something. The branchial cleft cysts are things that are left over from development. All this comes from the branchial clefts, and they have some potential spaces in there that usually close up, but sometimes they're left behind, and they need to be taken out.
I'm actually the one Indian who's not a doctor, so I don't know anything about this stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was talking to a doctor. I beg your pardon. I made a mistake. But I'm sorry. What'd you say, Dan?
So my question was, what do you think causes the infection to where these would actually blow up? Because my EMTs had said that within the community, the medical community, that nobody really has a concise answer to what causes the infections for these to blow up.
Was yours actually infected, or did you just get fluid filled?
It was infected to the point where it was starting to get fluid into it, and I had to take, like corticosteroids and some antibiotics to just get the swelling down to finally eventually get surgery a couple months down.
Right. So I'm not sure anybody can answer that for you unless somehow, I mean, the branchial pouches and stuff are sort of connected up with the mouth and throat and stuff. I'm wondering if something has a tiny capacity to get in that way. But other than that, I mean, cysts, their bacteria kind of fly around in our system a little bit, and things tend to get into cysts, but usually it's from the skin. So I'm not sure either. I don't know, Dan.
Yeah, alrighty.
It's just one of them things. It
was definitely a very anomaly for me.
Yeah, it's not something people commonly talk about, but congenital stuff, interestingly, doesn't sort of enter the common lexicon that much. Here's an interesting,
he should actually visit Mumbai. I'm just saying, not the previous guy, but like if the American doctors couldn't figure it out, maybe a trip to Mumbai.
There you go. There's certainly plenty of doctors there. Here's female 32. I thought it was normal to taste things that get put in the nether region. Not just semen, but also tree tea, aloe, this thing I use in my body. Immediately, it's like my breath. When I use it down under, it's in my breath. I've been adverse to dating people with bad lifestyles because it tastes so nasty. Is this psychosomatic or a thing? Why am I breathing out tea tree when I use it on my vagina?
Wow.
Wow, indeed.
Firstly, how good is life going if you have tea tree on your vagina? I'm just saying, as opposed to just cotton underwear. If there's tea tree in your nether regions, privilege has been good. I'm just saying.
American privilege.
Yeah.
So it's weird because I had never really heard of this until recently when a woman reported, one of our callers, in fact, that she could taste semen things when after an orgasm. And I thought, there's it's an absorptive region. Maybe there's something about semen that's in some molecule that causes the taste that gets absorbed. It's possible. And this is a comedian's mind. Like, I'm like, if you can taste it, how big is the guy's dick? That's all I'm thinking, right? If it's reaching. Funny, I had a comedian on when that question came up, and that's exactly where he went to. That is a comedian mind. Oh my gosh! All right, this is an interesting one. This is Chris. Hey, Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Dr. Drew, it's good to talk to you. My question is around, on the other side of a divorce, about 7 months, a result of infidelity on the part of my wife, and got 2 children. Just wondering how much, or if anything, to explain to them. They're currently completely in the dark about everything that happened. I'm just wondering if, do I ride this out? They're in a good place emotionally right now. I just worry about future if this is somehow exposed to them.
How old are they?
Currently 10 and 13.
What do you think?
I think it entirely depends on how good their relationship is with their mother. Because even co-parenting in a divorce is about preserving not yours, but the other parent's relationship with the kid. So it would entirely depend.
If it's bad, you might be inclined to tell them, or which way would it have to go for you to be inclined to disclose?
They would have to have a secure enough relationship with their mother where they could conceive of her being fallible in that area.
I kind of think that may be a good answer, but I sort of think generally what goes on in the relationship between the parents is not the kid's business.
Yeah.
And if they want to know once they're adults, then by all means. But once they are still essentially children and dependent on you, that's not their business. Things didn't work out because kids, The real problem with telling children is they have a tendency to blame themselves for everything that happens. And it's not even a tendency, it's a normal feature of childhood, particularly around age 6 to 10 or so. So if you say, your mom, she's straight a bit, they're going to think it's because she didn't love the child, didn't love me, right? And so I would just focus as much as possible on maintaining everybody's relationships, keeping things, as stable for them as possible. And then when they're at 18 to 20, if they want to hear more,
have at it. Yeah.
have at it then. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
I do. Yeah, sense. I worry about what that'll do to a person at that age of just kind of having that that idea shattered, if you will.
What do you mean? Who their mother was, or something?
Sure.
Well,
yeah.
I think even when you tell them, you've got to say, "Hey, this is our relationship. This wasn't about you. It didn't work out." I mean, is there something outrageous about her behavior that would make it extraordinary?
No, it was a multi-year thing that was, obviously hidden from me as well, and I'm dealing with my own aspect of it. But no, I mean, we are on the other side of it. There's, a good enough co-parenting situation. So just seeking out opinions on this front.
Yeah, that'd sort of be my opinion. And who would tell the kids at young age what happened, right?
Yeah, I worry that there's enough people in amongst my family members that know that it could get out.
Well, I think at very minimum you have a reasonable position to tell the kids if it does get out, which is like, hey, look, we want you to know we love you. Our relationship is our business. That's generally there is a general something in parenting these days where people feel like they have to tell their kids everything. They do not. You can, for instance, the one I talk about all the time is drug and alcohol use. Mm-hmm. If you don't want your kids using drugs and alcohol until they're 18, you tell them do not use drugs and alcohol till 18. And when they ask you, well, what did you do? That's not what we're talking about. And I guarantee you, as it pertains to that topic, telling them, well, I used to get high, or I got in a car accident when I was drinking. I don't want that to happen to you. None of that will matter. You will have, by talking about what you did when you were their age, you are issuing a license to start where you left off.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing. It's like, hey, this isn't your business. It's ours. We wish it had worked out. We can talk about it. We're not going to talk. It's not something I wanted to share with you. And I'll actively share it when we can discuss in greater detail when you're older.
I also think that, the old adage of talking to your kids like they're adults comes from a time when kids got to experience childhood. Right now, the average kid, by the time they're 13 years old, has seen more colors and has had more information and visuals and things in their head than we did by the time we were 20 years old.
Yes.
So do everything you can to preserve whatever childhood they have.
I think that's actually correct. So we've got some video questions in here. Let's take that one video question. Not quite sure what's coming here.
Hey everyone.
Oh yeah, this
video is of my husband Tyler. In January 2021, he started taking medication for depression and anxiety, and by March 2021, he started turning a grayish blue color. And as you can see by the end of the video, he's now a dark blackish color. None of the specialists know why his body reacted this way to the medicine. But he wants to know if there's anyone else out there that this has happened to, or if anyone has any answers as to why his body reacted this way to the medicine. It's his ears, face, neck, arm, hands. It's everywhere that the sunlight sees. Like his legs, he wears pants every day for work, so his legs aren't affected by this or anything, but all areas that the sunlight sees is affected by it, and he's really dark now.
It's wild, right?
However this works out, can I just say welcome?
I think I was just thinking, I hope Tan Mom doesn't find out about this. What were people taking around COVID? They were taking, was it silver nitrate? That's what I remember them taking, and it turned their skin into this slate color.
Oh God.
Yeah, and it's very similar to that, but that's not what he was doing. At first I started thinking, I wonder if he's taking that surreptitiously and the wife doesn't know it. But the slate color, the gray, can you kind of picture that? It's like gray, slate colored skin, silver nitrate, whatever.
But then it's clearly still a reaction to the sun because his pants don't have it, right?
Exactly. And that was the part that was so peculiar to me. Like if it were the silver product, it would be all over his body and not just sun exposed. So I started thinking that, antidepressants sometimes are ring structures, and ring structured chemicals get into the skin and they hold the sun's energy, right? They can concentrate it. But usually that causes sunburn.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if this guy tans really easily or something and it's just causing sun tanning instead of burning. Are you finding anything when you look it up, guys? Anybody?
Oh, I thought you just asked for me to put the video back up.
No. I wanted you to look up like COVID silver slate skin, something like that. I think it was silver night. They were drinking it or something crazy like that. Silver colloids, colloidal silver. There it is. That's the color.
Yeah.
See that color? Jeez. Silver colloids. All right. Interesting. We got some, let's see, calls coming in. How about voice messages? Any voicemails?
Yeah, we got a couple fun ones for you.
Hey, Daddy Drew. This is Ethan calling in. I had a quick question about chlamydia and the reinfection of chlamydia. I was recently diagnosed with chlamydia, and I have 7 days no sex. I was wondering if you can reinfect yourself with masturbation. Thank you.
Okay, just so I know, which one is chlamydia? Is it the one that never goes away, or is it the one that stays? Or the one that goes away?
Herpes is the one that never goes away.
Okay.
Chlamydia is the one that can stay for a long time without treatment, but it goes away easily with treatment typically.
So is it gonorrhea, or is it...
Chlamydia is the one that will hide in the fallopian tubes and stay there for long periods of time and cause damage. Then in men, chlamydia is usually symptomatic and usually it goes away when you treat it. But the idea that he could get it from masturbating is kind of cute. Because where is the chlamydia coming in? He can go masturbate as long, unless he's using some, I don't know.
Somebody else to masturbate?
Somebody else to use masturbating?
Yeah.
Or could a fleshlight somehow be contaminated? I don't think so.
All I know about chlamydia is that koala bears have it. Like all koala bears
they do have it. That's true.
have chlamydia.
But there's different kinds of chlamydia. This is chlamydia trachomatis. There's chlamydia that can infect the eye, the lungs. It's just an organism. It's much like saying, a pox virus or something. It's just a class of organisms. A couple weeks ago, I had Mommy Christina on. I casually mentioned how people who have strict physical requirements for their romantic partners have a history of some kind of trauma. I'm sorry if that's how you took it. It wasn't exactly what I meant, but okay. Can you expand? I once had a beautiful girl tell me I was the perfect guy, kind, handsome, smart, funny, but she wouldn't date me because I wasn't 6'3" or taller, and I don't have light brown hair and green eyes. I always thought it was weird to have such strict, specific standards, and I wondered what that was about. David,
David, as a 5'8" brown man with black hair and brown eyes, I empathize. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Just be hating.
And some preferences are just preferences, right? And height is, for instance, a common preference for women. It may have some evolutionary adaptive component to it. Really, what I was saying was that when you've had traumatic experiences, you will be attracted to people and circumstances that remind you of those original traumas.
Okay.
And they will form you'll literally be attracted to those kinds of people. And as that repeats, and you start noticing that when I go after that kind of guy, I'll not do that again. And inevitably they find somebody that re-traumatizes them. Because what happens is our system is so effective, it's so efficient, what should I say, perfect as an instrument, that if you had trauma and you find yourself repeatedly attracted to a certain kind of person, even when you're trying to do the opposite, if you feel lightning bolts for that person, it will be the same kind of person.
But then does that manifest with you setting like physical standards?
Not
that
usually.
Yeah.
It can have certain physical features, but that's not what I was talking about.
Yeah.
He took it rather literally what I was saying.
Yeah.
And I think physical standards are kind of, there's a million reasons why people have certain physical attributes. Sometimes I wonder even if it's genetic or something, like our genes
Give us preferences physically.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird though to me that we would have evolved for that, because we're a more healthy population when we mix.
Yeah.
We mix with different genetic backgrounds. So I don't know why we'd evolve to be attracted to similar. It's kind of a weird feature that humans have, and not exactly our best feature.
Yeah, I've never had sort of a type. All I know is like, I need to be your project.
No, you need to be the project.
Yeah, I need to be the project. So
not them. You're not working on them.
I need to be their project.
That's
like,
good.
I'm your fixer.
They're going to fix you. That's good. That's nice. Another voicemail.
Dr. Drew, Booth Boys. My name's Joe. I'm a mommy from Wisconsin, and I have a cum question. I just peed after having sex, and I swear it feels like there's just pee at the tip of my dick for minutes on end. No matter how much I push, no matter how much I just wait, it just always feels like it's there. 10, 20 minutes later, I can finally drain it out. What's that all about? I know the cum stored in the balls, all that good stuff, but like, can you shed some light on that?
All right.
Also, touch my camera through the fence there.
Ooh,
all right, love you guys.
Rough.
Bye.
Wow.
So that's urethritis, urethral irritation. Semen can be somewhat irritating sometimes.
And homophobia, but also
and
mostly
homophobia.
urethritis. So yeah, but yeah.
Homophobia's in there too.
Yeah.
And he it's a nothing. I mean, if it persists, for days after you've had sex, that's an infection that needs to get checked out. But immediately following sex, it's not uncommon for guys to feel like they have an urge there, an urgency, or they need to pee, but there's nothing there. So. All right, let's go to more TikToks here. Let's take a look at some of these things.
Yeah, we got a couple more fun ones for you.
TikToks?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh boy, when they tell you that, just prepare yourself.
Come on, let's watch them before you ban it.
Riceball is a beloved pet guinea pig that was entrusted to me by her owner to preserve. Once her skin was processed, her carcass was used to make a mold, and then a form was made with foam and clay. So I'm going to be doing a test fitting here just to make sure that everything is lining up right and it's looking like it's going to be a good fit. She was old and had bad skin in her final year of life, and as a result, she's shedding a bit, so I'm trying to be very gentle. And with a little bit more adjusting, there we go. It's looking like she's ready to mount.
Pretty cool, huh?
Is this like a taxidermy lesson, or is this a woman that can't get over the loss of her hamster?
I'm just,
A little bit of both.
No matter how much you love them, they wind up as a sock. Is that what this is? Fuck. It's not something I thought I'd be seeing today.
Nor have I ever thought I'd ever see, for that matter. But what I always thought taxidermy was sort of literally stuffed. I didn't realize they make a clay mold. But I guess she wants to put it in different positions, right?
I mean, we're both learning here.
I don't get. Well, she must be an interesting person.
Yeah, I always thought taxidermy was you suck some stuff out, but then you put some stuff in.
Right?
I didn't know you just hollowed out a layer and then spread it over something.
It's pretty wild.
It's kind of like fashion design, really, if you think about it, like more than anything else.
All right, what else you got?
Okay, you ready for this shit? Watch this.
I would like a mocha frappuccino. Okay, is that usually one of the most popular drinks? It is one of the most popular ones. That's awesome. I want one of those then.
Well, there they are. 570 fucking calories, 83 grams of fucking sugar, 140 grams of caffeine. You know what I'm going to do with this?
Throw it out.
You know, the shit that almost killed me. That's where it fucking belongs. Have a good day. Remember, don't let them kill you. Don't let those motherfuckers kill us.
So I'm guessing, what do you say?
I know 6 people in Mumbai who, if they saw you buy, they would assault this man. Like,
right.
If we saw you throwing away fully bought food.
All those good calories.
Yeah.
No, look, this dude this guy I'm guessing has been angry his whole life. Right?
Yeah.
And he did not just throw it away. He had to heave it into the can, show how aggressive he is. My guess is he probably overconsumed carbohydrates and sugars and has diabetes now. And that's why he's saying this shit almost killed me, because he probably ate frappuccinos all the time. And whose fault is that? That you didn't know that Frappuccino is just a milkshake?
Also, bro, if this is the victory, you know what I mean, like that you're looking for, there are bigger victories in life. Like, for instance, dandruff. I'm sorry, look at the sweatshirt.
I'm seeing it. I get it. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
Do you have any David Gold handy? I want to show if you're that, because this guy reminds me of him. But
yeah, I got some David Gold for you.
David, this is this guy. Tell me if you can understand this guy. He is making videos that I just don't understand why he's making them, and what's going into his head. Really, is always
man. That workout really tired me out. I've been running all day. Oh boy, I need to. I mean, I haven't done any real cardio running, but I need to get started again.
There it is. Like what?
Boy,
getting ready for that wrestling match. And I can love me better than you can.
Okay, now. Come on, Veer.
I will leave your country earlier if I see more.
I don't blame. That's what I feel like too. That's what I feel.
Good
yeah,
Lord.
I can't.
Is he a college professor or something? Like
does he look like that?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen this one.
One of those days, things just didn't seem to go right today. Everything was a nightmare, and a lot of headaches and little fires I had to put out, but nothing really worked my way. Well, the workout.
And that's it?
Yep, just ends right there.
And he doesn't make any effort to. Oh my.
Oh boy, beautiful Saturday. Kind of a cool breeze, but it's getting
for a
hot.
Cool guy.
But I'm barbecuing goat anyway.
What's he barbecuing?
Just sitting back here by the fire, watching it cook. And
Now,
get beautiful.
I tell you what, looking at David reminds me of Blind Bob. What do you guys call him? Shit Eye Bob?
Shit Eyes, yeah.
Shit Eyes. I want to expose you to this guy because I realized, I was thinking last night in the middle of the night, woke up thinking about this, that back in the day when Tom and Christina used to show me things like Shit Eye Bob, they'd go, what's up with this guy? And I would try to figure that out. But you guys have so thoroughly destroyed me that now I've just go, oh, it's a cool guy.
Instead of diagnosing, you're like, show me more.
I don't give you a good. I don't know. I sort of forget to give you a good analysis. And Bob is so fascinating that I thought, oh, I should talk a little more about what I think is going on with Bob. So you're going to have to experience Bob. Bear with me. Okay. All right, here we go.
Justin, I really like your videos.
He's blind, by the way.
I hope you continue to do them. And me being blind, please, I'd appreciate you doing them to where I can hear. And, I'd like you to turn the recorder on when you go into the bathroom and let me hear you undo your belt, pull your pants down, set the toilet seat down, and sit down and do a good stream of pee in the water and a good shit. And for me, since I can't see, if you could describe what it looks like in the toilet, just a fun thing. And, in other words, keep the recorder on from the beginning to the end when you flush the toilet. Okay, please get back with me and let me know. Okay, thanks.
So one second. You had a congressional hearing because you think China wants this man's data.
Yes. We care. We care about China spying on us.
Oh, is China spying on this guy?
Well, they will be. He guy's on TikTok.
Oh,
that's for sure. Oh,
the
here's
video, again. Anthony shitting, August 23rd.
Holy shit.
2008. I thought it was interesting. The audio was really great on that. Name is Bob. I wouldn't mind you doing some more videos like that and sending them to my channel. I like that kind of humor. It was fun. A lot of these videos on here, there's too much clutter and noise and stuff like that. And
Yeti's with his shirt off here.
I'd be interested to know what you were showing in the picture since I'm a blind person. But please get back with me. I sent you a message and wouldn't mind knowing more about what kind of video equipment you used. I think it'd be fun to do some fun videos, and as I say, this is
fun videos.
Kind of interesting.
And yet he can't see them.
Thank you, and do some more.
I got a question, Drew.
Before you ask, I gotta say, you if you didn't watch carefully, you would have missed a fantastic moment, because I just saw Veer go, "Oh my God, Jesus!" and I thought, oh, that was me when they first showed me the RPC videos.
Yeah, we've been watching.
That's exactly what happened to me. And my experience when I had that reaction when they used to show me videos before I'd been indoctrinated was I'd feel bad for the person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But also I'm confused because he's in the darkest room I've ever seen.
Yes.
But looks sunburnt.
He looks translucent. He looks glowing. He's glowingly white. Wild.
Oh, man.
So I have a question here, Drew.
Yes.
Do blind people know if they have a shirt on?
Yes.
They can feel a shirt. Thank you, Chad.
Yeah, you don't lose your nipples when you go blind, man. They can still feel things.
So he gives off a little bit of a gay vibe. Do you get some of that? Right?
This actually doesn't feel sexual to me.
No, not at all for me either. I mean, the earlier one did, which is I want to hear you take a dump and all of that stuff. That felt a little, ASMR-ish. Is that the word? Yeah?
Yeah. Yes. Good pickup. ESMR indeed.
Yeah.
Shit SMSR. But maybe it does that too. So ASMR, I beg your pardon. Sort of people get either kind of aroused, but they get kind of relaxed by it.
Yeah.
Right. And
I actually heard people do not get aroused by ASMR. They don't use
it's
it.
It's very
for
relaxing. Like it's usually people cutting something or eating something.
But it's typically a hot chick doing the ASMR though, and so there has to be some kind of a thing with it.
I saw this. I don't know where I saw it, but it's this lady who I think is from like Korea or from the region who smashes her face into bread. That's all she does. Is she buys a new loaf of bread, puts it in front of camera, smashes her face into it, and then you can hear her face smash into bread and the bread crumble around her face.
Oh, that's an ASMR type thought.
And it's mostly for the sound. And it is the most engaging content, better than White Lotus, better than anything that I have seen.
There she is. Is that her?
Yeah, that's the lady. Oh my God.
Instagram sensation. But there's a comedic element to it too.
Yeah.
It looks kind of funny. What's that? Oh, she has a big. So it must have some S&M quality to it. She has a chain around her neck. Right?
Yo.
Right? Some sort of. I mean, there's almost any fetish you can imagine. Bread face.
Bread face.
Oh, look at that. What would that be? It's a habit I've had for a long time, it says here.
I want her to marry the guy who chucked the Starbucks in the dustbin. And then that's the strangest couple in the world.
No.
They're just fucking up bread and Starbucks.
We got stranger stuff to show you, evidently, because she'd make a good match for some of our people here. That's really... Why will you please send that to Christina and Tom? Don't they need to look at that?
The bread smashing?
Yeah,
you got it.
They need to see that. But the human is so interesting. No other animals don't do shit like this.
Yeah, like dogs won't watch each other smash their face.
Mammals, even primates and things won't do this. So this is a uniquely human thing, right? And usually these compulsions or arousals or likes, whatever it is, or fun, as Bob would say it, come from intense experiences in childhood.
Yeah.
Something was intense and it sort of became arousing. Remember I talked about trauma a few minutes ago? It's the same kind of thing, but it's not, it just like, to me, Bob is no different in principle, I guess I would say, than a foot fetish.
Yeah.
Right? People like the feet. They're into that. And when you're a kid, you're down there at the feet and mom has feet and something maybe it was just an intense feeling you had, kind of wires in a connection. And then when you hit puberty, that kind of intensity and feeling gets drug into the sexual realm through the biology, and then you have face smashing and Bob.
Well, here's my question. Just because of where I live, Mumbai is kind of like a hustle city, right? Nobody has time.
Okay.
You have to survive Mumbai like Mumbai survives
Okay.
you. Does it help to know where it comes from? Do you know what I mean?
It doesn't make any difference.
It doesn't make any difference,
No.
right? Like, who cares? Just smash your face into the bread. Who cares, right?
Correct. And that's a good point.
Right.
And nor would I dissuade somebody from being Bob or face smasher.
But I would know, like for Bob or for Bread Lady, would knowing help her navigate in the opposite
direction? It wouldn't
direction?
change a fucking thing. It wouldn't change a damn thing. I mean, I imagine there's a world, I'm going to imagine, no one would do this.
Yeah.
But there's a world where you could do some sort of deep psychoanalytic with maybe with hypnosis and stuff, you could get at whatever the connection was.
Yeah.
Still, it might not change, right? And so it's just a wiring. It's a wiring thing. And as Bob says, it's kind of fun. Doesn't hurt anybody. I'd just like to hear more shitting, please. And it can mean well. All right. So weird, extreme fetishes don't usually exist in a vacuum. There's usually other stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Though I don't see it in Bob particularly, maybe it's just, whatever he was hearing when he was a kid was sort of overwhelming in some way because he didn't see it. Most people, like we talked about earlier, are sort of attracted to things that remind them visually of things from the past.
But aren't weird fetishes also closely linked to power and control? And roles within power and control?
Yes, some fetishes have that. Yeah, people, or certainly that's a feature of what the arousal is about.
Yeah, because I think that's what harks back to your past, right?
That's a different kind, but that can also. Yes, it can.
Yeah.
There's different versions of this for different people, different settings and stuff. But yes, you can. And once again, there's no problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Go do your thing, except sometimes people get re-traumatized or they hurt themselves because the desire for that gets increasing over time. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
but not always. Not always. Certainly not always.
But see, I'm the guy who's had so little sex in his life. I think my fetish is just gratitude. I have no game, so I'm the guy who just lies there. I'm like, can we just acknowledge that this is a blessing? You know what I mean? I'm that. So I can't tell a girl, go put on a goofy suit or something like that. I'm not that guy.
Which reminds me what I wanted to ask you about when I lost my train of thought 40 minutes ago. When I was a kid, there was a big preoccupation in this country with Indian things.
Oh, yeah?
And it came in through the Beatles.
Yeah.
You guys, I don't know if you know this history, but the Beatles, from sort of Sgt. Pepper onward,
went up to the Maharishi.
They were living with him. It all turned out to be a little fucked up. He was having sex with the women, the usual culty things.
Yeah, but also at some level, why do you keep showing up to find yourself in our country? Fucking find yourself on your own.
Well, that was sort of my take on it at the time, even. Yeah. And I recently saw a documentary about it. It's the Beatles in India, and they
didn't have a very good experience at all. And I think they kind of bolted really quick.
That's correct.
Yeah.
But they also seemed like usurpers to me. Like they were talk about cultural appropriation. It's like, we're here to take the real answer to live life is coming from what we understand about the Indian culture, and we're going to learn to play the sitar. And it felt very appropriating at a time when Americans were just interested in black lights and LSD and weird colors.
It feels surface level to me. To be honest, surface level. Like I don't think putting.
I'm not even sure it was surface level. Yeah. It was just their version of it, sort of in a way.
Yeah, right? I don't think putting on I read a book the other day. And I'm not going to take his name, but just like an Indian guru who primarily sort of sells spirituality to the West. So he's based here.
Okay,
right?
So that's what I'm zeroing in on.
Yeah,
that's not appreciating Indian culture.
Not at all. It's chicken tikka masala. It doesn't exist back home.
That's what I figured. Yoga was invented over here.
Yeah, we invented that shit. Yeah,
you invented it, and then they brought it over here, and it became yoga, essentially.
So I read the opening chapter of this book, right? And it said, every man has an inside and an outside. Really, you fucking genius? It's basic, shallow, surface level stuff. Real spirituality and a real sort of integrating into Indian spirituality and how deep it is takes time. It's not 5 joints and a visit to the mountains. It doesn't happen.
I heard
a
guy, a colleague, who said that when he was, I think he said 15, his mother threw down a mat and went, enlighten. In other words, start practicing and see if you can get somewhere with it.
Also, I don't know what you guys do with yoga, but now there's fucking puppies and goats and Bill.
Yeah, right. Goats on your back and stuff. It's all been our bullshit.
Yeah.
So is there anything that would be, that you could imagine that India could appropriate to take to India that would give us an understanding of what we're appropriating from you?
I think
McDonald's
real yoga.
Or
we have McDonald's. We have everything.
But I mean, isn't that sort of the same thing over there? It's like, yeah, we're not just McDonald's, but that's what's here.
Yeah, I don't think that there's sort of a basic view of America, that America is these 5 things.
Yes. So, but is there something that we do here that I would be like, no, that's just a surface thing. Don't take that as something reflective of who we really are. Yeah.
Here's what I do know about American tourists specifically, and I say this with all due respect to Americans
Peace and love.
all over the world, is I can go anywhere in the world, and in 5 minutes or 10 years, I'm dressed like an Indian. I'm just dressed like myself. American tourists show up in a fucking country and in 5 minutes start dressing like their version of what they think the locals look like.
Oh, interesting.
You know, so in 5 minutes you have like the Hare Krishna beads and the saffron kurta, or the French beret.
To be fair, if they go to Disneyland, they put on Mickey Mouse sweatshirts and things. That seems to be our thing, is to adorn ourselves with labels.
So ironically, if you're walking the streets of Paris, the most French dressed person, you're like, that's an American.
Interesting. And yet the thing that bums me out is Americans won't spend 5 minutes learning the language that they're in the country they're going to visit.
I mean, French is complicated, right?
Still, you can make a little effort. Indian's complicated. If I were going to India, I would learn some. I went to Portugal and I tried to learn a little Portuguese. I just think it's respectful. Just a little bit. Expose yourself. It's an important part of their culture.
I do think, though, to be fair, like the whole Americans don't know anything.
Babbel.com, everybody. Or don't forget Babbel.
Less and less. I think the whole Americans don't know anything about the world shtick is less and less valid every year.
That I think is true.
You know, I think it's a smaller world, for sure.
I think
now.
that's true. But we still are very self-reflective. You know, we're very insulated in a weird way because we're just on this thing. We're the whole continent. All right, let's. What do I want to watch next? Gosh.
Ooh, I have this very interesting thing that I'd
let's do it.
Take on.
All right, here we go.
All right, yeah. So Christina has been obsessed with this guy. Have you heard of Dr. Brian Johnson?
No,
I don't think so.
He's an anti-aging scientist.
Okay.
Just listen to these crazy precautions that he's taken.
Oh, God.
I achieved a world record in reducing my epigenetic age.
Yes.
I slowed my rate of aging by 24%. I have 50 perfect biomarkers, 100 biomarkers that are less than my chronological age. My body runs 3 degrees cooler than average. And all these things happened because I empowered my organs to express what they wanted instead of my mind tyrannically overpowering the well-being of everything else about me to get its purpose. To me, the first step in imagining becoming a better human for me was putting my mind in check because it was running wild and it was ruining so much of what I cared about in life.
It may still be doing that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's a little more.
Oh, boy.
My team and I make recipes, and we try to create the perfect diet. So I consume 2,150 calories a day, and we try to make every single calorie perfectly suited for my body. Don't waste a single thing. And so this represents all of our scientific work, all evidence-based medicine. We try to have zero guesswork. It's all based upon hundreds of measurements from my body that generate the data, look at that through evidence-based medicine, and we then formulate these recipes. My conscious mind is never consulted about what it wants to eat. My body does. So these measurements ask my liver and my heart and my DNA methylation that they need to thrive as biological processes and organs in my body. And it generates data. It says, I'm happy in this way and I'm sad in these ways. The reason why I take 100 pills a day is if the budget is 2,000 calories a day and the objective is perfect nutrition and it's vegan, this is what keeps my body in that perfect state. And so this is why a lot of people who do try to go vegan or do caloric restriction fail is because their body's missing critical, important pieces of nutrition. So this is what I did is I put myself on this, I call this my autonomous self. It's at 2,000 calories a day, an hour of exercise a day, it's vegan, and I just let my body run. So looked at muscle mass, body fat, and I measure all these things, full body MRI of fat, of liver, and then we say, how is this doing? And it's working. Like it basically has tuned my body to near perfect health.
Yeah, I'm happy he's empowering his organs because if there's one thing white men need, it's more empowerment.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. More special organs.
How old is he?
Like 87. No. How old is he?
He's 45.
There's a reason that doctors drink and smoke, because the reason is that almost no matter what you do, shit happens.
Yeah.
Shit happens. We are biological agents. Shit happens. And life is, if you make it all about sort of you and your health and your eternity and whatever, life becomes not worth living at a certain point.
Yeah.
It's not fun. It's not interesting.
There's no point in solitary longevity, is there?
Even he feels very solitary, doesn't he?
He does.
And by the way, if he's he's going to risk his life by having sex with somebody or something, whatever, it feels very self-preoccupied, very I mean, really what gives life meaning is other people and being of service to other people.
I mean, you can give yourself a long life, but other people make you feel alive, right? And I think, I don't know if this man feels alive a lot.
Yeah, it'll be interesting when he gets colon cancer at 53. So
or hit by a bus.
Is he getting? He's getting MRIs, which really don't do shit, don't tell you really anything, or get hit by a bus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or is he getting colonoscopies every year? Is he getting upper endoscopies every year?
I mean, he's spending millions of dollars on anti-aging.
And was a tech guy or something?
Science guy.
A science guy.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know what field?
But anti-aging for who? That's my thing. For who and to what end?
Right.
So he's the CEO of Kernel, a company that can monitor and record brain activity, and OS Fund, a venture capital firm that invests in early stage science and technology companies.
All right, but he really doesn't seem to understand science. That with the way he's As you know, there's a famous nutritionist named Kate Shanahan, a friend of mine. She's a physician, family doctor, but she was a biochemist in another life. And she goes, just the simple fact of digestion is way too complicated for us to say almost anything. She goes, but I can say these kinds of fats are bad, these kinds of fats are good. That's something I can say something specific about. You have to, if you're going to talk about cancer, it's got to be so narrow. Excuse me. If you're going to talk about science in the human physiology, it's got to be very, very narrow. Otherwise, you're really just guessing. It's just to talk about the macro level and the physiology and organs being happy. What does that mean?
I don't know what a happy organ is.
I don't either. I don't know when my liver's happy. Thank you very much. So, my friend, that comes to the end of our journey. I knew it'd be interesting to talk to you because
this was so much fun. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you liked it because I learned a bit as always, and I just think it's fascinating what you're doing, and particularly that you're able, of all things, to be able to do comedy in multiple cultures. That is hard. It's just hard enough to speak the language in different parts of the world, but to do something as nuanced as comedy, that's hats off.
It is. I think I've waited. I've watched American comedians all my life, and I've kind of waited for this moment my entire life where the world is so small right now. I thought I would start working in this country and kind of have to do your version of me.
Yeah, you'd be like Yakov Smirnoff.
And
do you know who that is?
Yeah, and very slowly you discover that the more authentic you are and able to take an American audience member to some place they've never been before.
Yes.
That's a stronger voice, and it becomes ironically working here makes it more important to do you.
Yes, that makes sense
and
to me.
And to bring back home.
Authenticity is something that brings us in.
Yeah.
We come towards you and like, tell me more. It's like, and then if you can punch them with a laugh, then it sticks. So, well, great to meet you. Great to spend time with you. And for everyone else, we will see you next time. All conversations and information exchanged during participation of the Dr. Drew After Dark podcast or interaction on the drdrew.com website is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Do not confuse this with treatment or physician medical advice or direction per se. You must always follow your medical professional's advice and direction. Nothing on these podcasts or posted on this site supplements or supersedes the relationship and direction of your medical caretakers. Please understand, I am not playing the role of physician in this environment per se. I'm educating. I am a licensed physician with specialty boards in American Board of Internal Medicine and American Board of Addiction Medicine.